So let's break down Crucible Knight. Crucible Knight is one of the first bosses in Elden Ring that can really give players trouble. He's pretty durable, he hits hard, he doesn't give big openings to punish. So he's been bullying a lot of new players to Elden Ring, so let's try to bully him right now. Right at the start, I'm going to try to show something that might seem really unintuitive, but it's a great way to get tons of damage on Crucible Knight. Hitting his shield like that is actually a fantastic thing to do. If you hit his shield, he will almost always do that counterattack, and you can simply walk to the left or right, and then get a, I'm doing fully charged R2s right there, and you can get a stagger pretty easily doing that. And even if you can't hit his shield effectively, like even if you bounce off, even if you bonk off the shield, you can still do that. You'll be a little slower, you might not get fully charged R2, but it still works. You can do this and basically get all the way through phase. Once you practice this and get good at it, you can just loop this like over and over like you see here, and pretty much trivialize phase 1. You can even do this in phase 2. I'm not going to show that because it's a little trickier in phase 2 because his AI is a little bit more aggressive. He likes to do the tail. So I'm not going to do that in phase 2, but you can still do that. So in phase 2, Crucible Knight's a lot more aggressive. He does these big telegraphed running attacks. But if you didn't know, you can parry Crucible Knight, and because those attacks are so telegraphed, they're very easy to parry. So that's a very safe and consistent way to get a lot of damage in phase 2. And if you're worried about the risk of parrying, you'll see I mess it up a few times in this example here. And normally you're fine, because like if you do a partial parry, you don't get stunned, so as long as you don't panic, you can roll, get away and heal. And the timing on these parries is very forgiving if you have like one of the small shields, which there's access to early in the game. Even if you didn't pick the samurai, you can get one. So this is a way you can really bully him in phase 2. And there should be an example coming up. Also, roll forward on this attack, because for those charge attacks, you want to be overlapping the boss as short as possible. So if you go through him, you're going to be overlapping the hitbox for a smaller amount of time, which means you have more leniency on your invincibility frames as you roll. So roll into those charge attacks. And yeah, the parrying on these attacks, see right there? I even went for the second parry, but if you're not that confident, you could just, retreat, run away, and heal. Because again, you don't get staggered, so as long as you don't panic, you're fine. Now I'll show some punishes you can do if you don't want to just parry. So here coming up, he'll do his infamous double tail sweep from range, and that's actually a great punish opportunity once you know how it works. You simply roll forward, and that's a guaranteed punish. You're safe there. So anytime he does that, once you know the timing, which is again pretty generous, just roll into him. Don't be scared of it, just roll in, get your punish, and you're good. Now we'll try to show a really juicy one. So the stomp combo Crucible Knight has right here is one of his more scary attacks that catches people, but as I demonstrate, it's actually one of the best ways to get a fully charged R2 even in phase 2. The trick to it is that after you roll through the first 2 moves, you actually have quite a bit of time to reposition. So simply sprint away, and once you know the spacing, you simply outspace the last hit and then get your big hit in on him in his recovery time. You don't need to roll through every attack. A lot of times in this game, one of the best ways to get openings is know when you don't need to roll. Sprinting is amazing in Elden Ring. If you're struggling with the game, you probably need to roll less and sprint more. Okay, so now I'm just going to show a full fight with no editing, just a full fight. And this character you're seeing, this is a non-leveled samurai, no upgrades. I think it's literally 20 minutes from character creation. So, and also I want to stress, you don't need to do the samurai for this. It's just the character I picked because it was convenient. Like, it has a shield for a lot of the strategy I'm doing, but you can get, if you are just playing casual, you can just get a shield. So this is how the fight plays out with each strategy. So hopefully, now that I've explained these things, you can piece this together on your own and, implement these on your own in your gameplay. So, phase 1, once you know this shield bonking strategy, is so simple. It's almost, it's actually crazy how easy it is. You can be so aggressive and you can just breeze through it. So there's really not much to say. If you're doing this strategy, and once you kind of get the rhythm for it, it basically plays itself. Now, in phase 2, I'm going to be much more safe than I'd normally be, mostly for the sake of the video, because a lot of people I think struggle with the tail, because that's kind of the tricky thing in phase 2, but I'll show that you don't even really have to engage with the tail that much. If you're playing defensively, you're parrying him a lot, you're going for the controlled punishes, you can basically kind of ignore the tail a lot of the time and just not even worry about it. which really simplifies the fight. Like, you know, right here I'm just kind of fishing for the parry, being patient. And again, you don't have to be this patient, but again, this is probably one of the simplest ways to beat him. Miss the parry, but you know what? It's fine. See, that's kind of what I was explaining before. Even if you miss the parry, you're okay. It's really not that risky to go for him. And then you do it again, and then that time you get it. So this is Crucible Knight made easy. And yep, roll forward. So here he's not doing the tail attack. So right there, why didn't I go for the parry? Because I was too far away. That's another thing I should explain. A lot of times you might miss the parry because the positioning is not right. If you're too far away, even if your timing's right, the parry won't work. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. That's why a lot of times you probably want to approach into the... Like, once you see him running towards you and you know he's going to do a running attack, move towards him to get in the proper position. Kind of like that. Because that's another factor of parries that could trip you up. It's not just timing, it's also position. Sometimes your parry might not work because you were too far away. Another thing you might be wondering, like, why are you not attacking him on Wake Up? You could hit him after the riposte. So, Crucible Knight actually attacks very aggressively in those situations, and it's kind of unsafe. There are ways you can do it, but it's really risky, actually. Like, if you try to hit him right here, like in that video, a lot of times he'll get up and immediately attack, and you could get counter hit, or you could get put in a bad position. So right there, why did I attack when I said I wouldn't attack as the tail? So, just like Phase 1, his Shield Bash move is one of his worst moves. That's one attack in Phase 2, where even when he can do the tail, it's still safe to attack him, because the Shield Bash has so much recovery. Like you saw, he tried to punish me with the tail, but it didn't work. So that's another tip for Phase 2. If he does a Shield Bash move, you can just swing. Like, almost, even with a really slow weapon, you can usually swing, because that move is so slow. So that's a good opening, even in Phase 2 with the tail. So, just like Phase 1, his Shield Bash move is a great opportunity to get your damage in. So, I actually purposely moved in right there, trying to bait his spin attack combo so we could do that juicy punish. Because some bosses will do their variations depending on your position. So, like for that attack, the Stomp, a lot of times he'll do the follow-up based on how close or far away you are. If you're too far away, he won't go through the whole combo. So sometimes I'll purposely get closer so I can do it. And yeah, we're just being very patient right here. Oh, and now we get the double tail punish. And he tries to do the other tail, but see, I roll in purposely on there to bait the double spin so I can get my fully charged R2. So that's an example of how you can change your positioning to manipulate the boss to do what you want them to do. And there's, just like before, he did the Shield Bash move, so I knew I could hit him and not the tail wouldn't be quick enough to punish me. Here, I just didn't go for the punish because I was like, hey, he's in the brush and maybe I'll get caught in a rock. I won't risk it. Again, I'm being super safe. I'm not even going to bother because I'm just going to parry him, and now he's like one more parry for dead. And yeah, you know, we healed once, so not bad. You know? Like, I probably could have punished that, but yeah, that's fine. I'm not stressing it, because he's dead. Just like that. So, I hope with this video, it not only helps you with Crucible Knight, but hopefully you learn something about the game in general, which will help you, you know, whenever you're fighting any boss in Elden Ring. Hopefully this will taught maybe some things about positioning or manipulating bosses. It's like a nice little demonstration. And before the loading screen cut, I was trying to show my inventory. That I'm base level, no upgrades. And there it is. Yeah, base level samurai. Base stats. Non-upgraded equipment. So, and yeah, you could do this any class. You don't have to be a samurai. You know, you could, again, you don't have to fight him at base level. And yeah, we were only 20 minutes into our file. So I hope this video helps some people out who are new to Elden Ring. Have fun with the game, and, hope this helped.